Good morning. Slim pickings yesterday as the favourites tended to do the score in Copenhagen. Well worth following this season in Denmark. Far too efficient against Lyngby yesterday. No real plays, I'm afraid. Inter and Guiniston. Inter scoring first. We could have laid the draw, I suppose, at half time. That's always an option. They did score, so you would have profited well. Odds on favourites scoring first. And Desmond Tutu going missing in the 94th minute with a missed penalty. Oh dear. Another professional footballer missing a penalty. Stel Milik and Lots. No ultra strong angles. Again, opening day of the season. It's hit or miss. Head to head, 0-0 and 0-0 and 1-2 last. 0-0 and 1-0. So they kept the under 2.5 goal pattern yesterday. The red card wasn't that important. It came very late for Mr. Ibiza. So again, no play from me yesterday. Arka Gdynia might be a side worth following in Poland. I thought they would go up last season. Their in-play stats were very strong, but they just didn't turn up. Opening day of the season again. But they are a side to follow in the Polish First Division. Gaias and AIK, no strong angle there either, as suggested by the market, 2.4 the favourite. So a good day to have off a Monday. Tend to get the dross, the leftovers from the weekend. Today, Champions League qualifiers, Europa Conference League qualifiers dominate today's coupon. Obosligan, I'm not going to be researching. 2.25 the favourite. It's just not got anything out of that, have we? Scottish League Cup is eminently tradable. Hopefully I could be up, but that'll be 1:45 a.m. for me. So it'll be hit or miss whether I can stay up for this. But there look some obvious plays. Of course, Dundee United, Stirling. Get your odds on favourites. In-play stats will be important here. And it has been a good competition, the Scottish League Cup, as far as trading is concerned. So it's well worth your while. Lots of odds on favourites. As you can see, Queen of the South, East Fife, Dundee FC, Livy, away at Cove, St Johnstone and Aberdeen. So well worth following today. Friendlies, of course, well, they're just hit or miss, basically. You had a couple yesterday from the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan got a 2-1 win, and Roma got a 1-1 draw. Some friendlies, as I said, the best approach to a friendly is what I call the Sligo Everton. If it's like 3-1 to Sligo with 6 minutes to go, that is a good entry point. I did that with Dortmund against Patum Thani, but they got mullered 4-0. 65 minutes gone, 3-0, 1.11 lay of Patum Thani, didn't come in. But 25 minutes to go for Dortmund, if they're up for it, of course. But jet lag and the enjoyment of the Bangkok nightlife, I think, got to them. Just have a look at some of the... Not much I can offer you, I'm afraid, research-wise. We know all about Bodo Glimt, Norwegian side, but we know very little about Rigas. Champions League qualifiers. I don't know why we've got that question mark, but I'm not going to bother changing that. I'm sure you can read through the lines there. Predicted score, well, favouring Rigas here. So that's not really in keeping with the market, is it? 1-3 Rigas. Rigas are unbeaten in the last 12, but I don't think any of this form is translatable to a Champions League qualifier, because this is all taking effect in their home league, rather not a 1 or 2 match playoff. Panavetsis against Jagiellonia Białystok. This is one for you Scrabble players. Second qualifying round preview. Let's have a look. So it's the first match of the season for Jagiellonia. I think they're from Poland. Polish side, I think they were playing at the weekend, weren't they? Lithuanian side, very little to know about them, but they've gone for a 2-1 win for Panavetsis. Lincoln Red Imps against Karabag. This should be as obvious as the market suggests. The Gibraltar side should not land a blow against, I think it's Azerbaijani champions. Karabag we tend to see them every year in one of the European club competition tournaments. They're probably going to be relegated to the Europa League. I would suggest Karabag at the later stages, and then maybe Europa Conference League, but I don't think they'll last too long in the Champions League once the big guns arrive. Gone for a 2-0 Karabag win. I suppose, yeah, that makes sense. Workmanlike performance. Apol Nicosia against Petrocub. Don't know much about the Cypriot side. Apoel. Again, I'm stumped. I haven't got a clue. 1-1 the research has gone for. Steaua Bucharest against Maccabi Tel Aviv. 2.25 the favourite. Market here has gone for a 1-2 Maccabi Tel Aviv win. Malmo, there wasn't any research on the Malmo match, I'm afraid to pass on to you. But we know all about Malmo. They got that 3-4 win at the weekend. Probably down to a Champions League distraction, having conceded 3 goals. Klaksvik are a Faroe Islands side. I really can't see Klaksvik landing a blow. If we put this on a par with Sweden playing the Faroe Islands in an international, you get the idea. This quote will be the same or similar. We do expect of Malmo. Dynamo Kiev against Partizan Belgrade. A couple of very familiar names. The market has gone, well, the predictor has gone for a 3-1 for Dynamo Kiev. Ferencvaros against the New Saints. Ferencvaros, the Hungarian side. New Saints from Wales. Let's have a look. Prediction. Potential 2-2 draw here. So interesting stuff. Gone for a 2-2 draw. At least a goal in the first half as well. And I'll try to get this kind of formatting done in the future. I think it was by clicking on paste rather than paste as plain text, because that looks far better, doesn't it? The University or UE Santa Coloma, I think there'd be an Andorran side or a San Marino side. Against Midtjylland, we know Midtjylland very well from the Danish Super League. The season just beginning. So again, this is another one we should have an obvious bias towards Midtjylland. 3-1 win. Fits in perfectly with a 1.17 quote, which, as you know, 0-3, 1-3, any other away scoreline. Lugano against Fenerbahce. Lugano, I think, from the Swiss Super League, whose season has just begun this weekend. Fenerbahce from the Turkish Super League, their season has yet to begin. On paper, I would have thought Fenerbahce would be the stronger side, and indeed the predictor has gone for a 2-0 win for Fenerbahce. Shamrock Rovers, we know from the Irish Premier Division. Sparta Prague, the Czech one league, has just started. Very strong support for Sparta Prague, but Shamrock might give them something to think about. But probably we're going to see the weakness of the Irish Premier Division exposed this evening. 2-1 win for Shamrock Rovers. Well, there we go. The predictor has gone for 2-1 to the Shamrock Rovers. Don't forget, I think this is a 2-legged affair. So any defeat is not the end of the world. I'm not going to be researching the Europa Conference League. Kosovo, Malta, Luxembourg, Kazakhstan, Yekshemish, San Marino and Estonia. What a sorry bunch that lot are. And don't forget the Scottish Cup, as I say. It looks very tradable. I really hope I can stay up this evening because I'd like to make some money. I think we can make some money. We've had some success with these. Maybe the simple plays like laying the draw, and the Partick against Montrose was excellent. There they were. Conceded against Montrose, came back, had a Desmond Tutu, came back and won that as well. So let's hope for more of this kind of stuff. Concede, equalise before half-time, turn that into a win. You could have laid the draw there, laid the Desmond Tutu. Just did everything, Partick. So I don't know if they're fancy today. 1.33. So watch out for them today. They were very impressive against Montrose. That's the kind of side you want to trade. So I hope to see you a bit later on. I'll certainly be on hand for the early kickoffs. But as far as staying up till 2 a.m. For the Scottish Cup, it's going to be hit or miss. If I am up, I will stay up because there's a lot of odds on favourites. It's like a first round of a Grand Slam. There's lots of gaps in quality between the two sides. And that, I hope, we can exploit today. You can check their league positions in the head-to-heads. This should be the Scottish Championship and the lower tier for Edinburgh. League One for Edinburgh. And if you go down long enough, you've got the Championship against League One. So I do like to see those gaps in the leagues as well. Tennis-wise, well, we had the first hard court event, and that's what I'll be focusing on. And we've got more to come. Don't forget, the next Grand Slam is in the US and it's on hard. So these will be particularly important to follow. You're hoping that the players who are taking part today are giving 110%, covering every blade of grass. Tennessee Coconacas, mate. Screws, mate. Where's me strides, mate? I don't know, mate. Castlemaine 4x, mate. Screwed. Look at the ATP rankings. This could be a three-setter. It's only 4 points between them. Borna Coric is not a slouch. I would look at the potential of a three-setter in that match. Fukic, as I say, I like Australians, particularly when they're favourite. They've just got that mentality, haven't they? Nakashima, I do fancy him. If old Ronald McDonald wins the first set, I would be keen to take on old Ronald. Kekmanovic against Walton. Again, we've got an Australian, 95th ranked against 57th. So not the best ranked favourite you'll see, 52nd in the world. Rinder Kanek, he was good in Holland, his home country. He's playing JJ Wolf with his magnificent mullet. I think that's a stylish mullet there from JJ Wolf. Not quite on a par with some of the Australians' mullets, but he could go far in the mullet tennis world, JJ Wolf. 1.62 the favourite. Harris, we've seen a lot of Harris. He's a Brit, 114th against 107th again, just basing it on the ATP rankings themselves and indeed the odds, suggesting a three-setter. He's had a few 7-6s, Harris, if memory serves. So we're going to have a look. Yeah, he does get the odd 7-6 set in. Beat 122nd there. So this could be an interesting match here for Harris. He's a Brit. Looking at the ladies, well, it's still playing on clay. So that's a men's, sorry. Dominic Thiem. Berrettini has been worth following. We've got a couple of Austrians playing each other. Again, fellow countrymen. They might just be able to read each other's game. So it'll be interesting to see whether these two matches here will be three-setters or if we take on the first set winner. But I don't know much about clay court tennis in between the grass court of Wimbledon and the hard court of the US Open. It's very difficult. This is like a workman-like tournament, isn't it? They're just doing the rounds. Foggy has been in excellent form. He's going to give Van Asch something to think about. Had an excellent French Open, Foggy. A couple of 3-0 wins. So he's might be in one of his good moods. Talking of moods, Rublev, who smashed his knee in with his own club, his own racket. Up to you. If you fancy trusting this bloke, he looks layable all day long with his mental problems. Rublev, he needs a chill pill. And this is, again, the women's. I wouldn't be looking at this at all, but we've got fellow country women here. Chloe Paquet, I love. my new ex-wife. 106 against 240. Just a battler. You can tell by the haircut. What a battler. She's a better performer when not favoured. So if you pick up these players, she could be going down the rankings in the next few years, I would think. And Avanesian has been a familiar name, but I probably won't be playing any tennis, particularly these clay court events. Going to have a lot of Czech players, of course, for the Prague Open. Sampson and Siniakova. Will Sampson be able to read her fellow compatriot? And in that case, is Siniakova leading? 38th against 634, so a big gap in the rankings. So that'll be interesting. So just football today then for me, I think. But we'll look tomorrow, see whether those matches I've starred were readable or not. So I'll be on hand from 4 o'clock today. Don't expect too much. I think this is the first of 2 legs. Indeed. So the first of 2 legs, it's basically half time, the 90-minute result. So, but certainly you'd expect Malmo to do a number against the Faroe Islands side. Bodo Glimt, maybe over familiar for us. We don't know too much about their opponent. And indeed, the research has gone for a win for the Latvians. So I'll see you on hand from 4 o'clock onwards throughout the day. Don't forget, we are edging ever nearer to the start of a new season. 3rd of August. It's great, we've got some familiar leagues. We started seeing them on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Poland, Denmark, Czech Republic, all excellent stuff. We're going to start seeing some of the UK leagues, Scottish Premiership, FA Cup on the 3rd. Wow, lots of FA Cup matches. Belgian Jupiler League has begun its season. Coppa Italia, great stuff. For you Premier League fans, you're going to have to wait until the 17th. As is typical, the English Championship, League One, League Two begins a week earlier than the Premier League. Could be my first live chat webinar, but there's very little for us to work with, of course. So it has to be very much in-play stats based, that one. Premier League returning on the 17th. Newly promoted against new manager. It's going to be fascinating to see how this new manager affects Liverpool. Is it going to be a huge positive, or is it going to be a bit of a slump? We don't know. Transitional time. Potential relegation 6-pointer already for Forest against Bournemouth. This is the kind of match you have to either win against a likely relegation side. Championship, Italian Serie A returns as well. Inter Milan champions. Watch out as well, as I keep saying, newly promoted, newly relegated. We'll be pointing those out for you. Ipswich, of course, newly promoted, could struggle in this higher league. Have a great day today. Telegrammers, I'll see you on from 4 o'clock onwards, and I hope to be up for the Scottish League Cup. If I am up, I will certainly be following that. Have a great day.